Let's talk seriously, no sugarcoating.
If you're here expecting to hear another one of those lukewarm, comfortable pieces of advice that make you feel good for 5 minutes, you can leave right now. This video is not for everyone. It's for those who have courage, who hunger for power, who are tired of being made a fool of and want to take control of their own lives. What I'm going to tell you here will hit like a punch in the gut, knock you off your feet, and make you rethink everything you thought you knew about being a real man. And if you don't have the stomach to face this truth, let me warn you, there's no room for cowards here. Do you want to continue being just another face in the crowd, or do you want to become the kind of man who defines his own destiny, who bows to no one?
The choice is yours.
But if you decide to continue, I guarantee that by the end of this video, you'll never see things the same way again. Get ready, because what comes next will change your life forever. Let's get straight to the point. Number 1, detachment is not a mask. It's who you truly are. Now let's get serious. When I say detachment, I'm not talking about one of those cheap tactics you pick up in any self-help book. No, my friend, detachment is much deeper than that. It's a way of being, of existing. It's waking up every day knowing that the world doesn't revolve around pleasing anyone, much less a woman. Being detached is not a switch you flip on and off when it suits you.
It's a constant state of, I am enough. And if you think this is easy, I'm sorry to inform you that you haven't understood anything.
Being detached means you're not desperate for validation, that you don't kneel at anyone's feet for attention. It's living with the certainty that the only person you need to please is yourself. This isn't selfishness, it's intelligence. Because in the end, people respect those who respect themselves first. When you live for yourself, when you are the center of your universe, power flows naturally. Now let's talk about discipline.
Because let's be honest, it's much easier to be like most men out there, going with the flow, molding themselves to others' expectations. But do you know what happens to those guys? They end up being sucked into mediocrity, always trying to please, always trying to prove something. They're doomed to live in the shadow of others' desires. And what does that bring? Nothing but frustration and dissatisfaction. But you, who are here with me, have already chosen a different path. You've opted for discipline, and this choice will separate you from the rest. Discipline is what transforms an ordinary man into someone exceptional. It's what allows you to build a lifestyle where you're in control, where every choice you make is conscious and geared toward your growth. Detachment isn't about not caring about anything. It's about prioritizing what truly matters. It's about falling in love with your own process of evolution, with the man you're becoming every day. It's understanding that the only constant in your life is yourself, and everything else, including women, is a complement, not a necessity. When you adopt this mindset, something magical happens. Things start to align. You stop chasing people, and suddenly you realize that they start chasing you. And do you know why? Because you've become rare. You've become that guy who doesn't need anyone to be complete. And that, my friend, is a power that few men have the courage to conquer. While most people live on autopilot, you're in command of your own life, charting your path with surgical precision. And this path, however arduous, will lead you to a place where you not only have control, but also the peace that comes from knowing you never had to bow to anyone. And the irony of it all? The less you care about pleasing others, the more people will want to please you. Because deep down, everyone wants to be like you, free, detached, and their own master. So, if you really want to have power over your life and any relationship you have, start here. Make detachment not just a lifestyle, but the essence of who you are. This is what will set you apart from everyone else. This is what will give you true power. And if you think this path is too difficult, that's fine. You can go back to the line of the ordinary. Those who spend their whole lives trying to be someone they'll never be. But if you choose to continue, know that the reward is great, absolute freedom. And with it, total control over your destiny. Number 2, a detached man is an impenetrable wall of emotions. Now, let's talk about something most guys simply don't understand. Being emotionally unavailable. This isn't just a trait, it's practically a superpower. When you become that guy who doesn't need a woman to be happy, when you don't care about her approval or presence, you automatically rise to the level of high-value man. And I'll tell you why this makes you irresistible. Women are used to dealing with guys who are willing to do anything for them. Then suddenly, you show up, all detached, not needing her company to be happy, not needing her validation to feel like a real man. This messes with her head. It drives her crazy, because you become the challenge she didn't expect. You're the guy who doesn't flinch, who doesn't let himself be manipulated by cheap emotional games. She'll try to test you, make you chase her, trap you in a cycle of emotional highs and lows. But guess what? You're immune to that, because you live your life fully and happily on your own. And this is the biggest secret. You're always willing to walk away, not because you're cold, but because you know your worth. You don't need her. And that, my friend, is what defines true detachment, the ability not to care. Now think about it. When a woman realizes that you're not desperate for her, that you're not playing the same game everyone else is playing, you become an enigma, a mystery she needs to solve. And humans in general love to solve mysteries, especially when the prize is high. You become that prize she wants to win, the challenge she needs to overcome. And here's the magic. The more she tries, the more she invests in trying to win you over, the more she falls for you. It's the old story of wanting what you can't have. And it's not because you're hiding behind a mask or pretending. No, you're genuinely detached. You know that, at the end of the day, you don't depend on anyone to be happy. And that security in yourself is what makes you shine in her eyes. Because let's be honest, no one wants someone who's available 24/7, who bends to their whims without resistance. People, and especially women, want challenges. They want to conquer something that's worth it, something that doesn't come easy. So, when you adopt this stance, when you become emotionally unavailable, you automatically become the prize. She'll fight for your attention, work hard to earn your time, and more than ever, she'll want to unravel the mystery that is you. And the more she invests, the more involved she becomes, the more entangled she gets in this web that is really just a reflection of your detachment. And in the end, who holds the power? You do. Because while she's expending energy trying to win you over, you're living your life, full, happy, and most importantly, in control. Because an emotionally unavailable man isn't a cold man. He's a man who understands his own worth and knows he doesn't need anyone to be complete. So, the next time you catch yourself thinking about giving in to some emotional whim of a woman, remember, detachment isn't just a tactic, it's who you are. Be the wall she can't climb, the enigma she can't decipher. Be the man who, deep down, everyone wants to be, but few have the courage to be. Number 3, the unfailing move of reward and punishment. Now that you've absorbed the concept of detachment, let's move to the next level, the application of the psychology of reward and punishment. And no, this isn't a joke. It's about how you can shape the behavior of those around you, especially when we're talking about relationships with women. Let's get straight to the point. When a woman behaves well, meaning when she treats you as the high-value man you are, it's time to reward her. And I'm not talking about something extravagant. Sometimes, a simple, well-placed compliment, a kind gesture, or a demonstration that you appreciate that positive behavior is enough. This creates a virtuous cycle. She starts to associate good behavior with getting something she wants from you, whether it's attention, affection, or even more of your time. It's the famous carrot before the horse, but with class. Now, the part where many people slip, punishment. When she messes up, when she disrespects you or tries to make a fool of you, it's time to withdraw your attention, withdraw your time, your energy, your interest. That's when the magic happens. She'll realize that her actions have direct consequences and that the price of bad behavior is high. And what's the price? losing what she values most, you. Simple as that. The big mistake many men make is not knowing how to apply this strategy. They reward bad behavior, whether out of fear of losing the woman, insecurity, or because they don't understand their own worth. They think that by giving in, they're being more understanding or flexible. But in reality, all they're doing is digging their own grave in the relationship. Because, my friend, if she sees that you're going to stay firm and strong even when she disrespects you, guess what's going to happen? She's going to lose respect for you. And without respect, there's no love. End of story. You need to understand that the dynamic of the relationship revolves around one simple thing: mutual respect. And for that respect to exist, there need to be clear boundaries. If you don't establish those boundaries, if you don't make it clear that there are consequences for her behavior, then you're basically handing over the reins of the relationship to her. And I guarantee you, my friend, that's not where they should be. This is where the real application of the psychology of reward and punishment comes in. This isn't about cheap manipulation. It's about setting clear standards for how you expect to be treated. If she treats you well, she gets the prize. If not, she loses what she values most. Simple, direct, and best of all, extremely effective. And don't confuse this with an immature emotional game. This is about respecting yourself enough not to accept less than you deserve. When you internalize this mentality, something powerful happens. You stop accepting crumbs, stop begging for respect. You take control of your life and consequently of the relationship. In the end, it's simple. If she doesn't respect you, she doesn't deserve your love. And if you don't have the courage to apply this truth in your relationship, then maybe it's time to reconsider your priorities. Because a man who knows his own worth will never beg for respect or love. He will demand it, and anything less will not be tolerated. And that, my dear, is true power. If you're tired of being made a fool of being the guy she walks all over and then throws away, it's time to wake up. Want to know how to use the psychology of reward and punishment to turn the tables and finally make her respect you? Read the ebook in the description of this video. After reading it, you'll learn to be cold and calculating, to leave no room for disrespect, and to master the art of putting any woman in her place. Stop being a doormat, stop swallowing disrespect, and start being the man she not only respects, but fears losing. It's time to turn the game around and take control of your life. Number 4, the supreme level of detachment. Now, let's talk about what really separates the boys from the men: mental strength. If you thought detachment was just a matter of acting indifferent, it's time to wake up to reality. The real power of a detached man isn't just in his actions, but in his ability to control his emotions, even when the situation starts to get complicated. Let's face the facts. At some point, you're going to start developing feelings for a woman. And it's exactly at this point that your mental strength will be put to the test. Because, my friend, it's easy to be detached when you don't feel anything. The real test comes when emotional attachment starts knocking on your door. If you can't keep a cool head and let those feelings dictate your actions, all the power you've built will crumble like a house of cards. And don't be fooled. She will notice it. Women are experts at reading emotions, especially when it comes to detecting signs of weakness. If you let emotional attachment take over, that aura of detachment that made you irresistible will dissipate into thin air. You go from being the unshakable guy, the one who was in control, to just another one in the line of the desperate. And do you know what happens when she realizes you've lost control? The respect disappears along with it. And here's the big truth that few understand. Without respect, there's no love. It may seem harsh, but it's the cold, hard reality. If she doesn't respect you, any feelings she had for you will start to wither. And without that respect, the relationship is doomed. She might even pretend she's still there, but deep down she's already lost interest. That's why mastering this advanced level of detachment is crucial. You need to be able to feel without being dominated by the feeling. You need to be able to get emotionally involved without losing control.
This requires a mental strength that goes far beyond the ordinary. It's about keeping your focus on what really matters, respect for yourself and your values. When you master this art, when you reach this supreme level of detachment, the power you wield becomes absolute. Because then, my friend, she has only one choice: to respect you. And that respect doesn't come from just words. It comes from a deep place where she knows you're a man who doesn't bend, who doesn't give in to emotional pressure. And if, by chance, she can't respect you, then she simply doesn't deserve your love. Because love, true love, can only flourish where there is respect. And if you're not respected, you're just wasting time. There's no room for weakness when it comes to controlling your emotions. Mental strength is the key to maintaining the power you've worked so hard to gain. So, the next time you feel like you're starting to get too attached, stop and reflect. Remember that your worth doesn't lie in being emotionally available, but in being emotionally controlled. This, and only this, is what will ensure you stay in control, that you continue to be the high-value man who attracted her in the first place. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters, being a man who knows and exercises his power with unshakable mental strength. Number 5, the overwhelming power of silence. Now, let's talk about a weapon that few know how to use correctly: silence. If you thought words were your main tool of power, it's time to change that mentality. Silence, when used strategically, is one of the most powerful weapons in a detached man's arsenal. And believe me, it can cause more damage than any long, elaborate speech. What happens when you control what you say, and more importantly, what you don't say? You become a mystery, an enigma she can't decipher. And here's the truth that few understand. Women are driven by curiosity. They need to understand. They need to know what's going on. And when you don't hand everything over on a silver platter, when you don't respond immediately or simply choose to remain silent, you create a field of uncertainty that leaves her uneasy. This calculated silence isn't a sign of weakness, but of absolute control. When you speak less and observe more, you keep the power in your hands. She starts questioning what you're thinking, what you really feel, what your intentions are. And that doubt, that uncertainty, is what will keep her trapped, trying to decipher your every move. Think of it as a game of chess. Every word you say or don't say is a calculated move. And silence? It's that unexpected move that leaves your opponent at a loss for what to do. In the world of relationships, silence is your way of making it clear that you're not desperate for validation, that you're not going to expose yourself emotionally without a good reason. This puts you in a position of superiority because while she's trying to figure out what's going on, you're in control of the game. And the beauty of silence is that it's an invisible force, but immensely powerful. There's nothing more intriguing than a man who doesn't reveal everything at once. Because, let's be honest, anyone can spew out a bunch of words without thinking. But mastering silence? That's for the few. That's for those who truly understand the value of leaving others in suspense. And it's not just about what you say, but how and when you say it. Choose your words like you choose the best pieces on a chessboard. Be intentional, be strategic. Make her work to earn every crumb of information you offer. This makes her more invested, more interested, because you're not an open book. You're a collection of secrets, and that makes her want more. In the end, silence creates a space where she needs to fight to keep your attention, to decipher your thoughts, and that effort, that dedication to understanding what's going on in your mind, is what keeps her interested, involved, and eventually in love. A man who doesn't give himself away completely, who knows the power of keeping quiet at the right moment, becomes irresistible. Because he's not just a challenge, he's a constant enigma, and human beings love challenges. So, the next time you feel tempted to say everything you're thinking, remember, silence is golden. And
and a man who knows how to use it has in his hands one of the most powerful tools to maintain control in any situation. Because in the end, the one who speaks less and observes more always comes out on top. Number 6, the total control of your own narrative. Let's make one thing clear. A detached man is not just a passive observer of his own life. He is the author, director, and protagonist of his own narrative. This means that you are the one who sets the terms of the game, establishes the boundaries, and makes it clear from the beginning what you expect and what you won't tolerate. And before you think this is manipulation, it's good to understand that it has nothing to do with that. It's about having high standards for yourself and for anyone who wants to be part of your life. When you control your narrative, you put yourself in a position where emotional games and manipulation simply have no place. You become immune to attempts at manipulation because you know exactly what you want, and more importantly, what you deserve. And let me tell you, that's rare. Most people live on autopilot, being led by circumstances, by the desires of others, without ever stopping to think, what do I really want? But you, who master your own narrative, are one step ahead. You live with purpose, with clarity, and that's where true power comes in. When a woman realizes that you're not just another guy trying to please, but someone who is firmly in control of his own story, she understands that if she wants to be part of that story, she'll have to play by your rules. You're not there to play her game, but to follow your own script. And that, my friend, changes everything. Controlling your narrative means that you never allow yourself to be a victim of circumstances. You are the leader of your life, and the people around you, including women, need to work to keep up with your pace. And do you know what that does? That puts you in a position of natural leadership. It's not that you're forcing someone to follow your rules. It's that you're so focused on what you want, so secure in your decisions, that the people around you feel naturally inclined to follow your lead. And when it comes to relationships, that's gold. Because the truth is, a woman will only truly respect you if she knows you're a man who knows what he wants and won't accept less than that. She might test your limits, try to see how far you'll go, but if you keep your narrative firm, she'll realize that to be by your side, she'll have to play by your rules. And don't be mistaken, this doesn't mean you'll be a tyrant or a controller. In fact, it's the opposite. Controlling your narrative is about having the clarity and strength to live according to your values and expectations, and allowing others to be part of that in a harmonious way. You don't need to force anything because those who are truly in control don't need to. In the end, what you're doing is leading by example. You're showing that your life has direction, that you're not adrift, waiting for someone to come and tell you what to do. And that strength, that clarity, is what makes a woman look at you and think, this is the kind of man I want by my side. Because she knows you won't give in, you won't be molded by temporary whims. You have a vision, a plan, and if she wants to be part of that, she'll have to work to be up to the task. So, remember, controlling your narrative is essential. It's what will ensure that you live life on your own terms, without being swayed by external influences. And in the end, that's what will put you in the position of strength and leadership that every real man should have. Because the power of a man isn't just in what he does, but in how he defines and lives his own story. Number 7, the absolute power of complete detachment. We've reached the most powerful point of all, complete detachment. This is the holy grail of self-sufficiency, the stage where you become practically invincible in the game of relationships. Complete detachment is when you reach such a high level of self-sufficiency and confidence that no woman, absolutely no woman, has power over you. And what does that mean in practice? It means that you not only live a full, happy, and fulfilled life on your own, but also that you're immune to any attempts at emotional manipulation, power plays, or those emotional traps that many women try to set. You become a true master of your destiny, a man who doesn't need anyone to validate his existence or his choices. When you reach this level,
You become the prize, the man that any woman would love to have by her side, but that few truly deserve. And this isn't arrogance, it's the simple truth. Because unlike most people, you're not desperate for external approval. You don't let yourself be swayed by whims or emotional games. You know exactly what you want, and, more importantly, what you don't want. And that, my friend, is where true power lies. Complete detachment gives you incredible clarity about your own worth. You know that you're a high-value man, and that you deserve to be treated as such. And here's the beauty of it. If any woman tries to disrespect you, manipulate you, or test your limits, you simply replace her. No drama, no hard feelings, no losing sleep over it. Because you know that in the end, no one, absolutely no one, has the right to treat you as anything less than what you are. And don't be mistaken, this power doesn't come from having a bunch of women at your disposal. Far from it. The real power lies in being the kind of man that no woman can dominate. It's about living on your own terms, with unwavering confidence in who you are and what you have to offer. And that's exactly what makes complete detachment so irresistible. When you reach this level, you won't have to worry about emotional games, insecurities, or doubts anymore. You'll be in absolute control of your life and your emotions. And that, my dear, is true absolute power. Because in the end, being a detached man isn't about manipulating or controlling others. It's about having so much control over yourself that nothing and no one can destabilize you. So, when you get to the point where complete detachment is part of who you are, you'll have achieved something that few men do. Total freedom. And with that freedom comes the power to choose who you want to be with, and more importantly, who deserves to be by your side. Because you know that in the end, only the best is good enough for you. And if a woman doesn't understand that, she has no place in your life. We've reached the end of this journey, and now you hold in your hands the keys to a power that few men dare to dream of achieving. Absolute power doesn't come from dominating others, but from mastering yourself. When you adopt detachment as your way of life, you rise above the emotional games and traps that ensnare so many men. You become the architect of your destiny, the author of your own story. You transform into someone who doesn't seek validation because you've already found everything you need within yourself. And it's exactly that power that makes you untouchable, irresistible, and indomitable. It's not about having control over women, but about having control over the one thing that truly matters, your own life. You are the prize, the man who sets the terms, who creates the rules, and who lives according to his own standards. The one who doesn't bow, doesn't surrender, and doesn't accept anything less than the best. Now, I leave the decision in your hands. You can continue to be carried by the tides of others' expectations, or you can take total control of your life and become the man you were born to be. The choice is yours, but remember, true power doesn't lie in who you conquer, but in who you become. If you like this video and want to continue this journey of self-discovery and personal power, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any content. Leave your like, share it with that friend who needs to hear this truth, and comment below what you think. Let's build together a community of men who not only understand their worth, but live according to it. Until next time, and remember, true power lies within you. Be the master of your own narrative.